Function f is defined by this function right here, where a and b are constants. In the xy plane, the graph of that function, which is f of x minus 12, has a y-intercept at 0, negative 75 over 7. The product of a and b is 320 over 7. What is the value of a? Now, there's a lot to unpack here, but first things first, maybe not directly related to this, but just to make sure that you are shoring up your understanding, I want you all to remember real quickly that this kind of function here is known as an exponential function. How do we know that it's exponential? You look at the exponent. Whenever the exponent is a variable, you know you have an exponential function. Not really relevant, but my goal here is to make sure that you are well-rounded and reviewed in all the little concepts that you need to know on this exam. So now let's actually try to do this question. First, we have to understand what concept this is trying to get us to see. We have the original function f of x, but then we see it here again, f of x minus 12. What is this minus 12? What is that doing? This minus 12 here is what's known as a transformation. And transformations are operations that move your graph left, right, up or down, stretch or shrink it, reflect it, all those things. The minus 12 specifically being that it's outside, that is a downshift of your original graph, 12 units. So we moved the graph, this original graph was moved down 12 units, and once it got moved down, its y-intercept, this y-intercept belongs to this new graph. So then the question is asking, what is the product of a and b? Or rather, the product of a and b is given to us as 320 over 7. But now look, a and b is associated with the original function, not the new one after it's been moved down 12. So to answer this question, we're going to have to undo the downward movement. So it brings us back to the original function, which has the a and b that we are going to need here. So hope that makes sense. So to undo the transformation, if this is the y-intercept, we're going to simply take this negative 75 over 7 and add 12, because that, if it was down here, we're moving it back up 12 places. Is that making sense? If this were like a y-axis, this is the original y-axis, so we're moving it. This is the graph of the original graph. This is the graph of f of x minus 12, if that makes sense. So we're basically undoing the shift down by adding 12. So let's go ahead and do it. If you're adding any fractions, again, you have a calculator, so just use that. But find the common denominator. So this will become 9 over 7. Now, what do we do with this? This is the y-intercept of the original function. So I can rewrite this as 0, 9 over 7. That's the y-intercept of the original. All right, so let's take this a step further. We're given the original equation as f of x equals negative a to the power of x plus b. Remember, in having this y-intercept, we now have the x value and we have the y value of this function. So we can literally plug those in where they need to go. F of x means y, so the y value is 9 over 7 equals negative a raised to the power of 0, because x is 0, plus b. Now, anything to the power of 0 is 1. So let me move this up here. What I'm saying is, if you raise anything to the power of 0, it's going to be a 1. But then there's a negative out there. So this is going to be 9 over 7 equals negative 1 plus b. You got to add 1 to both sides. And you will find that your b value is 16 over 7. Now, we're getting closer to finishing this question. The final part of this is saying the product of a and b is 320. That means if you take a times it to b, you get 320 over 7. Well, with being asked to figure out a, we already have b, so a times the b value we just found equals 320 over 7. So to solve for a, you multiply both sides by 7 over 16. Anytime you want to get rid of a fraction, you're going to multiply it by its reciprocal. So on the left side, the 7 cancels, the 16s cancel, and we have a, which is what we're solving for. That's the whole point. And on the right side, of course, you can use your calculator, but after doing a lot of math, you will find that the a value is 20, meaning the answer to this is 20.